Hi 12s, we're going to talk you through the task 1 multimodal. This is a bit of a process exemplar that talks you through the requirements of the task. During weeks 1 to 5, obviously we viewed documentaries in class and you've been required to construct analysis of those and paragraphs that will assist you. Your task now is to choose 2 documentaries to consolidate your analysis and then construct a thesis that responds to the task question. After you construct your script, which should have an introduction, 3 body paragraphs and a conclusion, you need to carefully proofread and edit prior to submitting that draft for feedback. You can submit both your written script and your multimodal element for feedback, and I would encourage you to do so. Practice, obviously, and presentations are in week 8. The Exemplar is based on the 2 documentaries Bully by Lee Hirsch, which was produced in 2011, and Waiting for Superman by Davis Guggenheim in 2010. The thesis that I've created is that documentaries successfully present serious societal issues of failing systems through the skillful use of persuasive techniques. I've chosen to base the exemplar off these 2 documentaries that you haven't studied so that you can see the skills that are required in the task. The key features of the task in this exemplar are that the analysis is detailed and relevant. There are some explicit links to thesis throughout. There are use of connectives that are suitable for the purpose. There are very few grammatical errors. Quotes are always contextualized to allow for smooth reading. The identification of the persuasive technique is accurate. The examples are quality examples, and there is in-depth analysis accompanied with those examples, and there is purposeful academic writing. As you can see here, we've got an introduction. I'm not going to read it to you, but the key features of an introduction include an intention grabber, a formal introduction of yourself as an expert. We suggest that you take on the role. So your context is that you are an expert in sociology, so we'd suggest taking on the role of a professor of sociology from a university. You need to introduce your 2 documentaries, including their title, dates of publication, and the directors of those, preview arguments, and obviously your thesis statement. We suggest you try and have a hook as your attention grabber, really grab the reader's attention in prior to then moving into explaining what you're going to be talking about. Here on the screen now we've got body paragraph 1 and 2. The first body paragraph is about the role of the documentary, and the second one is about your first film. So with the first body paragraph, you really need to have a topic sentence about the role of the documentaries in society. Keep it nice and general and broad. Consider the purpose of documentaries in presenting societal issues, the types of documentaries that there might be. You need to remember to link to thesis and use evidence to support your point of view. So find a quote from somewhere that needs to be referenced, okay, which I haven't done, okay, that would actually be a reference there, that just reinforces what you're trying to say. Your second body paragraph is the focus of documentary number 1. So with that documentary 1, you need to have a topic sentence citing the title, director, year, and brief synopsis. We are aware that you've already stated the title, director, and year in the introduction. However, we do recommend that you reiterate that information here. You need to identify the style of the documentary. So if you're not sure what it was, have a look at the list that was in your notes that you've studied in class. Things like expository or compare and contrast, observational, etc. You must talk about how the viewer has been positioned to view the director's point. So whether or not they're positioned to feel empathy, to see the issue as negative or positive, things like that. So that's about your opinion there. Then we need to use your techniques. So you need to contextualize your quotes, put your quote in, quote analysis. You need to use 3 examples, 3 techniques. In here we've only used 2 explicitly, but we are saying that you need to use 3. You must have a use of connectives to create cohesion, sum up and link to thesis, and then you need to link to your next paragraph. Exactly the same structure for your third body paragraph, so making sure that you've got a really clear topic sentence. Again, explain the type of documentary or style of documentary, how the viewer has been positioned, techniques used, use of connectives, sum up and link to thesis, and then link to the next paragraph. So again, as you can see in here, there is 3 examples. There is a third mentioned, but there is no specific example provided. So you need to be nice and specific with the examples that you are using from your documentaries and then analyze what they are actually saying. Features of your body paragraphs will include the names of the documentaries in italics. Okay, you need to make sure that that is reflected in your multimodal element as well. You need to use the name of the technique in the contextualization of the example. Be specific and explicit with your links to thesis. Vary your sentence structure to achieve specific purposes. Sequence your ideas logically so that they build, and make sure that you are persuasive. Lastly, we finish with a conclusion. Here you need to restate your issue. Try and hook the listener in again so that they're interested in what you're talking about. Then state your key viewpoints by reiterating the names of your two documentaries and how they were successful in presenting the societal issues. Restate your thesis, and then make a final comment about the nature of the issue or documentaries in general. So give the listeners something to think about. So in this example, a quote has been used and it has been referenced appropriately. As a reminder, for your Task 1 multimodal, make sure that your analysis is detailed and relevant, that you have explicit, purposeful links to thesis. Think about the various ways that you can refer back to your thesis. You don't necessarily have to say your thesis statement the same way every time. There should be a use of connectives that are suitable for the purpose, very few grammatical errors, quotes are contextualized to allow for smooth reading. You identify your technique, provide examples and in-depth analysis, and you have purposeful writing. This same attention to detail needs to be taken in the creation of the physical multimodal element as well. Good luck.